Hello. Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you all. My name is Kalina here. I'm going to be your coach today. So we're just going to start in a couple more minutes while we wait for a few more people to join in. Just hang tight with me. All right, nice. All right, thank you everybody for joining me today. So again, for those of my friends that just joined the webinar, my name is Kalina, and I'm a coach here in HubSpot. I'm located here in Singapore, sunny Singapore, and it's 1:30 p.m. for me here. So we have today with us my fellow colleague and friend, Janice, who will be moderating our session. Just to give you a very brief introduction of what I do here in HubSpot, I am a user success coach, and my role here is to work with users like yourself to ensure that everyone is optimizing the free tools and getting the most value from our platform as possible. All right, so before we begin, I'd like to go through a few Zoom logistics. Towards the bottom of everyone's screen, you'd see a few icons. So we have this chat function where we'd send our post-webinar survey towards the end of the webinar. Really appreciate if you click on it and give us some feedback so we are able to improve in the content that we're delivering in the future. In the middle, we have the raise hand function, and that's just a virtual hand raise. So whenever I open any questions to the floor, please feel free to use this icon to respond. Lastly, we have the Q&A tool. So we'll be using this mainly for questions towards the end. However, if you do have any questions throughout, please feel free to send them along our way using this. Awesome. So why don't we give this a try? Who's ready to get started? Let's have a raise of hands. Fantastic. Cool. Thanks so much for trying that out. So this is the agenda that we have for today, folks. After this webinar, I hope everyone here is able to walk away with a better understanding of how to use the CRM. I'm going to take you through on a really high level overview of how the CRM is designed to work best. From there, we're going to walk through some basic setup steps and how completing these steps can help you get the most value out of your CRM. After which, we're going to hop onto my own HubSpot account for all of you to see how to use the CRM in your day-to-day workflow. So we'll look at it from a business owner and a sales rep point of view today. And we will also go through some very simple customization steps to help you organize your data better. Cool. So what is HubSpot? HubSpot, we initially started off as just a marketing automation software. But soon we realized that just attracting people into your business isn't enough. Marketing is just one part of the business. You definitely need sales to ensure that these people become customers, and service to ensure that these customers stay happy, and to nurture them to become promoters of your brand. So you would need a way to tie up all this information together, and that's where having a CRM comes in handy. Hence, we've evolved our business to become more of this all-in-one growth platform you see here that ties marketing, sales, and our new service blocks together through the CRM, which should be the foundation of everyone's business. So what you see on this slide now is actually our flywheel model that represents our platform today. So for our session today, I'm going to be drilling down mainly on the CRM and the sales side of the platform, and it will be very much orientated around this simple sales funnel. All right, so can I have a show of hands of who's familiar with this funnel or who's using this funnel approach in their business today? Anyone? Oh, that's great. So I do see a few hands. That's great. So for those of us that aren't familiar with this funnel, it's really a basic buying process that companies lead their customers through when purchasing products. Okay, let me elaborate. So at the very top, okay, you have your leads, and we call this top of funnel. At this stage, you're going to prospect and qualify to see if there's a possibility to move these people down to the next stage of the buying cycle. Leads that have taken the next step to show interest in your product, such as book a meeting with someone from your team or ask for a proposal, what you need to do is move them to become an opportunity. You will all continue to interact with these opportunities and move them along the buying cycle until they eventually become customers. Of course, if you remember our flywheel model earlier, you'll know that the buying cycle doesn't stop when you've converted your opportunities into customers. Ideally, you should continue to build that relationship with your customers through marketing and through servicing them so that they eventually become advocates of your company and bring in new leads for you. So the cycle begins again. That's something that we'll talk a little bit more in our future webinars, so stay tuned. Today, let's just focus on getting all of you acquainted to this very simple funnel and how you can get that set up within HubSpot. All right? Okay, so before we begin to see that, I want to share with you some basic setup steps that all of you really should complete to really get that value from the CRM. Okay, the first one is to connect your inbox and install the free email sales extension. This is really, really crucial if all of you want to be able to send out emails from HubSpot and also have HubSpot save a copy of your email conversation in the CRM. So with this step complete, we will also create contact records for you automatically when you send these emails out. Okay? Next, you need to import your data because without existing data, you can't get your team to start working off the platform, right? Okay, once that's done, I would recommend that you install your tracking code, okay, to your website and connect your external form to us using the collected forms tool. This is so that you can get all that valuable website analytics when visitors submit a form through your site. Cool. And lastly, most importantly, add your team. The CRM is only more powerful when your whole team is aligned and working off it. Okay, so for all those, everyone here who has not done these steps, later on in our follow-up email after the webinar, we will include some guides for you to look into and get that sorted out. So no worries there. All right, perfect. So today we'll be working off my HubSpot account. Okay, and that's going to be for my imaginary cake business. It's called Sugar Bakes. And I'm going to be the founder of Sugar Bakes as well as the main salesperson. A little bit of my business, we make custom cakes, and my main objective of using HubSpot is to keep track of my leads better, as well as to set up a proper operational workflow so orders don't fall through the cracks. Initially, I'm going to be the first point of contact for my leads, and then I'll pass it on to my team to follow up and deliver. All right, cool. So let's have a look at how this rolls out. Hopping onto my HubSpot account right here. All right, so coming into work every morning, logging into my HubSpot account, this is my homepage. The first thing that I really want to see is, do I have new leads that I can work with today? So naturally, what I'll do first is to go into my contacts tab and hit into my contacts dashboard, all right, right here. Okay, so this is my contacts dashboard. As you can see, it's definitely going to be different from all of yours. It's because I've done some customization to mine in a way so it makes more sense to me. Right here, if you notice the different columns, I've actually set this up to pull out different properties that would help me understand my leads a little bit better. So things like, oh, what kind of product, okay, is this person interested in? And I've also gone ahead to set up my dashboard so that it pulls out my new leads. And that's the first thing that I see. How I went ahead to do that is by using this tool here. It's called Filter Views. So all new leads coming into HubSpot will all have an empty lead status. So lead status is unknown. There's not going to be a value there. And lifecycle stage is going to be labeled as leads. So these are two different properties that you can use to kind of segment your contacts and set this up so that this is the first thing that you see when you come in. All right, so today looks like I have two leads that I need to follow up with, Charlie and Jen. Before I go into their individual contact records, just from how I set up my dashboard, I'm able to actually get like a high level understanding of what they want. So for Charlie, custom cake seems like he's a lead. I've also pulled out last contacted and last activity date, their properties in HubSpot, and I noticed that both are empty. So definitely no one has touched this contact record before. All right, so what I will do is to go into this contact record and just look into his history or to look into his activity timeline, see if I can gather more information before I reach out. Charlie seems to be pretty empty. So this is the activity timeline that I would go to. It seems like he was created by myself. This little portion here is the About section. That's where you'll add all the different properties that would make sense for you to have in a glance, okay, to understand the relationship that this contact has with your business. I've also customized this, so this would definitely look different from your About segment. I've pulled out things like last contacted date, life cycle stage. And actually, if you want to go ahead to add more properties, for example, like product, this is where I would go to, okay, to bring that to my About section here. Okay, add that there. And once you're happy, head back into your contacts. You'd see the new property appear. Cool. All right, so looks like this person, I actually have another property that I created, okay, which is a lead source and referral name. All right, so I'm just gonna add that there. So yes, it gives me everything I need to know in an overview. So it reminds me, okay, so yeah, this person came through like one of my friends, Sarah, and I was supposed to reach out to him to understand like what he wanted for his custom cake better. And how I would do that is I'm going to send him an email to get more information. So because I've already gone ahead to connect my email, I can use the email tool within HubSpot to do that. And in addition to the emailing tool, I'm going to use a template. So within HubSpot, you have a couple of free sales tools, and templates are one of them. They're amazing. Go ahead to click on templates, and I've already pre-created a few templates, one for my custom cake. I'm just going to go ahead to select this, and it just pulls out everything that I've set up previously, everything that I need to know when I'm trying to customize orders for for the customers. So all I need to do is just make sure that all the information is correct, and once I'm happy, I can click send. Okay. So another advantage of connecting your inbox is that HubSpot also gives you the alternative to work off your email inbox. So either Gmail or Outlook desktop. And for me, I'm using Gmail. So let me show you how that looks like. Okay, if you're using O365, you would have to download the O365 or the Outlook plugin. For me on Gmail, I use the Chrome extension, and it's just going to change the interface of my inbox. All right, so what I will now have is some sales tools, okay? Just like how I pulled out a template earlier for Charlie, okay? This is my CRM. And just in case you need to refer to his email address, you can just do this, all right? Pull out that template, okay? Select custom cake, and it just pulls out and does exactly the same thing as whatever I did on the contact record itself, okay? The only difference is that on Gmail or through your mailbox, you have the option of customizing the log and track. So log would mean to tell HubSpot to save a copy of the email onto the contact record, and track would just be us telling you, oh, your recipient has opened your email. And we actually save that open on the contact timeline, so it's really good reference to have, okay? Once you're happy with this and your log and track are both checked on, go ahead to send it through, okay? So what would happen is that we would save a copy on the contact timeline. Let me show you. We'll just give this a quick refresh. Okay, and right here. So there you go. Okay, so that's a little bit about the email tracking. And looks like I'm all good with Charlie right now. So what I want to do next is to hand him off to Janice. So for example, let's say that my email sent through and you're able to see it being logged onto the timeline. What I would like to do is to get my team to follow up and be in touch with Charlie. What I want to do is now pass this contact over to Janice, who is also working in my company, and I want to get her to follow up. Okay, so I've emailed him. Please give him a call if he doesn't reply. Okay, so because now I'm actually getting her to follow up using a phone call, what I want to do is to change the to-do here to call. So I can customize the type of the follow-up action. I can assign it to my teammate Janice, and I can customize that to tomorrow, let's say. So if I don't hear back from him, I'll get her to just be in touch. And I can even set the time that this reminder is being sent to her. So let's say first thing in the morning when she comes in at 9 a.m. Okay, let's just go ahead to save this task. And you would see that it saves onto the contact timeline. Okay, what I'll go ahead to do next is to also change the owner. In case you're wondering what contact owner means, it means who's responsible to reach out to this person. I'm going to shift that to Janice because I want her to follow up, okay, on my behalf. And once I've changed the contact owner to her, I'm basically done with qualifying this person, okay? And I'll leave it into her good hands. All right, coming into my contacts page again. All right, I have a second lead that I need to follow up with, and her name is Jen. So let's have a little look about Jen and see what I need to be in touch with her about. So for Jen, if I take a look at her about section, it seems like she came through a referral, and it's actually Janice's friend, Amy. If I look at her contact timeline, you'll notice that she was actually created by Janice. And Janice has left me a note, okay, referred by my friend Amy, and wants to speak to you about custom cake design. Reach out by phone or email is fine. Okay, great. So what I'll do is I'll acknowledge her. In case you're not familiar with this, it's actually our add mention function. So let's say I want to notify one of my teammates. Okay, thanks on it. Okay, for example, save this, and she would get a notification from HubSpot that, hey, I've replied to her. Okay, so what I'll do is I will reach out to Jen by giving her a phone call. And let's say I've spoken to her already and I got like all the information I need for her custom cake design. Okay, what I'll do is I will go ahead to create that activity by saving some call notes. Okay, called Jen, spoke to her, and here are her cake requirements. Okay, for example. All right, so once I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead to log that activity. And because she's ready to actually move to the next stage of my ordering process, I've got her requirements for my cake. I just need to send the details to the rest of my team so they can get that created and delivered. I am going to now create a deal for her. Okay, so what I will do is scroll all the way down to the contact, to the deal segment here, and create a deal for Jen. Okay, by default, the deal name should pull the account, or what we like to call in HubSpot, the company name. But because I'm a B2C company, so what would make more sense for my business is for me to record the deals as maybe the customer's name. So maybe Jen Tan cake order, for example. We have one sales pipeline that you can customize, and I've already done so for my workflow. Okay, so my deal stages would look different from yours if you're still using our default labels. And I would place her as order email receive, okay, because I spoke to her. I'll also record the amount of the deal or of the cake order, and close date for me would be the date that she wants me to deliver on her order. Okay, deal owner. I am going to send this across to Janice because she usually follows up on all my orders. Okay, and once I'm happy with this, I'll just go ahead to create this deal record. So you notice that it brings me directly to the deal record, and it looks very, very similar to your contact record. The only difference, the main difference that you would see is that you have this sales pipeline top where it lists out all the individual deal stages or the workflow stages that you have set up. Okay, so this really helps you keep track of the workflow better. In a nutshell, you'll be able to see what stage this deal is at. And if you want to move it from this stage to the next stage, let's say if order has been sent to the kitchen, just need to click on this little circle right here. Okay. Before I do that, I just want to also leave her a note, maybe give her the design of the cake that my customer wants or Jen is looking at. So what I'll do is I'll mention Janice again, like so. Here's the design she wants. Okay. And we have the option of allowing you to attach a file. Okay, so maybe I will choose an existing file. Okay, so for example, I have a design here. Okay, please send this to the kitchen, for example. Okay, so I'll go ahead to save that note. And if it's really important, we have the ability to allow you to pin that note. Okay, so it doesn't get lost in the timeline. All right, and I'm happy with this. So once that's done, Janice is going to take over and she's going to help me follow through the rest of the stages until we close this customer, until the cake is delivered, for example, payment received. That's for me. All right, let me take you to our deals dashboard. So as an owner, I think for myself, I would be really interested to see how many deals I have existing at any one point of time. And although you have two views here, I personally like the board view better because you're able to see on a very high level how many deals you have in total right now and what stages are they at. You can also see a tabulation of the total value the deals are going to bring in at every different stage. And you don't need to go into individual deal records to change the deal stages. You can actually just drag and drop it, okay, to the next stage right here and change the deal stage. So essentially, you should get your team to use this deals dashboard, the different deal stages, to really keep track and make sure nothing falls through the crack, and make sure that you're able to bring the deal across to either payment receive, which is where you've close won the customer, or if you didn't manage to get this account, close lost them. Right, so this is a little bit more customized to my cake business. If you want to go ahead to customize this pipeline to reflect your own workflow better, you can do that by hitting the actions button here and clicking on edit deal stages, okay, if you haven't already done so. All right, so as a business owner, another thing that would interest me is how am I going to tie all this information that I have in HubSpot so that it makes sense to me, right? So things that I'll be looking at would be, how is my business performing in terms of my revenue? How much am I bringing in? Am I creating enough deals? How many deals do I have like at one point of the pipeline? What is my team doing on a day-to-day basis, right? So all this very helpful information would help me run my business better. And we tie all of that data back to you in our reports, and how you can access the reports is back in the home page right here. So if you click onto that, okay, it brings you back to the main page where you sign in. Okay, and this is your sales dashboard. By default, we will give you the ability on the free platform to add up to 10 reports. For me, I've already gone ahead to add a few reports that I find helpful for my business. One of them is deal forecast. I think if you scroll down, deal forecast is actually one of the default reports you have. Team activity as well. So this gives you a high level of what the rest of my team is doing. I actually went ahead to add this in complete tasks because I find it useful to just give me a high level overview of what are the outstanding follow-ups that I have. Okay. And some other really interesting reports. Okay, one highly requested, I would say, report that users always ask for is a breakdown of different engagements. So if you want to see like really drill down into different users on your teams, different reps, and what their engagements are like on a day-to-day basis, Leaderboard actually gives you a good breakdown of calls, emails, and meetings. But obviously for my business, we don't do meetings, so you won't see meetings appear here. And if you want to really drill down into a specific date range, you can do so by like clicking here and just editing the report as so. All right, cool. So where do you go to if you want to add new reports? So if my reports on my dashboard don't work for you, we actually do have tons of free reports just up to the top right of your dashboard. I will highly encourage you to really explore this. We categorize it based on functions like marketing, sales, or lead, for example, or there is a search bar up top for you to look through using keywords to look for the report that suits your business needs better. All right. So in a nutshell, that's kind of how you use HubSpot to run your business, or to run my business in a sense. And everybody's business is a little bit different, but I hope you get a good sense of how to sort of represent your sales funnel using our free CRM. Okay. I'm going to open the floor up for any questions. We really want to make sure that all of you are comfortable using the free tool. So please feel free to send across any questions to me using the Q&A tool. Okay, Janice is also going to send across on our chat function a webinar survey. Really appreciate all your help in filling out the survey, letting us know what you like about the webinar and what you hope to see in the future that would help us improve in our content. Okay, feel free, don't be shy. All right. Of course, while we were waiting for questions to roll in, I just wanted to give you like a high level and like overview, my thoughts maybe, of best practices to use the CRM. I feel that the CRM is only powerful, or it gets more and more powerful if you use it actively and your team uses it actively. So a really big one of the things that I work with users to do is to always add your users and teams, and you can do so here in the gear icon for all of you curious to find out how to get that to work. All right, so we have our first question. Is there an Australian representative I can talk to regarding applying it to real estate, like a one-on-one demo? Yeah, you can actually speak to our growth specialist if you're really looking at to assess whether HubSpot is a good solution for your business. What we could suggest is you can speak to your growth specialist on some of our different solutions. He'll be able to get you on a demo and just to walk you through some of your business objectives. So let us know again, Rick, if that's something that you're open to. We'll be happy to connect you to him. Okay. Is there any other questions? Okay, Tom. So you're asking if we're going to demo the lead flow today. For today, it's actually basically on the CRM. But since you're asking a little bit about the lead flow, that's actually one of our free marketing tools. It's located here under lead capture, and I can just really touch very quickly on it. It helps you do that very quick conversion on your web page, and all you need to do is to install the tracking code onto your web page, after which you can just follow through the instructions here to get your lead flow set up. Just go ahead to create a new lead flow, and it will walk you through all the different steps. Once you are happy with it, all you need to do is publish it, and it will appear live on the website that you have the tracking code on. Okay, so what this lead flow does is for visitors that they fill up your lead flow, we actually bring in the submissions to HubSpot, and it creates contact records for you automatically. Okay, if you need any additional information, I wanted to introduce all of you to our really great knowledge base. Okay, our knowledge base is located here, like in the Learning Center. It has all the guides, everything you need to know, videos, training tools, troubleshooting articles for you to really deep dive into each individual segment of our free platform. So that's actually a really good channel that you should leverage off. Okay, so from Nick's printing, is there a business term glossary in HubSpot? There's some business specific terms we'd like to keep consistent among all users. Do you mind elaborating on that? I'm not too sure what you mean by business term glossaries. Is that something specific to your business? Are you looking at how you can create sort of a label that everybody in your account or everyone in your company is used to using? Product names, right. Okay, got it. So you're definitely looking at how you can create special properties for properties that don't exist in HubSpot. So earlier on in my business, I created a property where I differentiated like custom cakes and cupcakes, for example. And where you could go to do that is on your settings page, which is the page that I'm on right here. Anything you need to do or any modifications you need to make on your account come into your settings page. For me, I hit it into property. Okay, and in properties, you are able to create different properties for different records like contacts, companies, or deals. So product for my business was something that I wanted to see on the contact record. I have it here. You can either modify, edit that property by clicking on it, or if you want to create an entirely new one, just click on create a property here. You'll be able to label it, change the name to something that makes sense to you. We have tons of different field types that you can leverage off. I would say if you have something consistent, use drop-down field or multiple checkbox. These two are these two fields are usually the ones that I would recommend if you want to keep track of such a property. Did I manage to answer your question? Okay, perfect. All right, any other questions today? All right. If not, we really appreciate all of your help in actually just giving us some feedback on the webinar feedback form that Janice posted. Also wanted to let you guys know that we have another webinar coming up. It's actually to drill down into more advanced sales tools, all in the free platform. It's coming up in a couple of weeks, and if you are interested, which is something I would highly recommend all of you to do since you've covered today's basic webinar already. Let us know if you want to join. I think the easiest way you can just leave us a note on the feedback form, the webinar feedback form, or we would be sending out post-webinar emails sometime tomorrow with a recording of our webinar and some helpful guides for you to complete the setup on your own. If you're keen to join in the next webinar, just feel free to reply that email and let us know so we can be in contact with you again with the registration details. All right. So another question about the new properties, how can I synchronize them with Shopify? I initiated the Shopify HubSpot integration, but only default properties are synchronized, not the one that I created. Okay, so for the Shopify integration, that's a really new integration created by us. And I believe you went through the integrations tab here to connect that. I would say we have a knowledge guide on that. Give me a sec. Let me just pull that up for you. Okay, so usually what I would do if I'm looking to figure out certain tools or how to get something done on HubSpot is to just do a quick Google search and add HubSpot at the back. So let's just have a look at setup. Okay. So what I would suggest is, did you refer to our help article or the guide to set up your Shopify integration? Okay, but it wasn't synchronizing correctly, is that correct? Yeah. All right. So what I would suggest, Sophie, if you don't mind, maybe we could be in touch because this is usually if you follow the help guide, it should sync, but every business is very different, and maybe we could drill down into that a little bit later. Maybe I'll reach out to you through email if that's okay with you. Okay, cool. Perfect. And we'll look into it later. All right. So if there's no other questions, I'm just going to wrap up our webinar session for today. Appreciate all of your time, and I hope that every one of you here managed to get some value out of our webinar. Hopefully, what you'll do is continue the setup on your own, and please feel free to reach out to us, to myself, to Janice, if you have any other questions on what we've discussed today. We look forward to seeing you again in our next webinar to come. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.